What if this album isn't really about a serial killer after all? Alone Came a Spider is one of Alice Cooper's most disturbing and misunderstood albums, and by the end of the video, I'll explain why the story you think you're hearing might not be the real story at all. Before we go any further, quick spoiler alert. Later in this video, I will be discussing the album's ending and its major narrative twist. I'll give you a clear warning before I reveal it, but if you want to experience the album completely blind, keep that in mind. I bought the CD back around 2015. At this point, I was just getting back into music and CD collecting after being away from the music scene for a while. I had been a big fan of Alice Cooper in the late 80s and 90s, but over the years, I lost track of what he was doing. Before finding this album, I had picked up Brutal Planet, which reminded me just how heavy and aggressive Alice Cooper could still be. Not long after that, I came across Alone Came a Spider in the used CD bins for about under $10. I had never heard of the album before, but at that price, I figured it's worth taking a chance. Since then, this has become one of those albums I go back to regularly. The more I listen to it, the more I realized there was a lot more depth here than I originally expected. Alone Came a Spider was released on July 29, 2008 through Steamhammer SPV. It's Alice Cooper's 18th studio album and his 25th studio album overall. It's a hard rock and heavy metal concept album. It tells a dark, cinematic story from beginning to end. Commercially, the album did very well. In fact, it became Alice Cooper's highest charting studio album in the United States since Hey Stoopid back in 1991. Which says a lot considering how deep into his career this album arrived. From the very first track, it's clear that it's meant to be experienced as a full album, not just a collection of songs. On the surface, Alone Came a Spider tells a story of a psychopathic serial killer known as Spider. The character stalks his victims, hunts them down, and collects their legs, slowly assembling them like a spider collecting prey. Throughout most of the album, the story plays out like a modern horror film. You hear themes of obsession, control, hunger, and violence, all wrapped in Alice Cooper's trademark theatrical style. At this point in the video, I'm intentionally keeping things vague. Just know that the album's narrative is far more layered than it first appears, and everything builds towards the final track. Musically, Alone Came a Spider works as a bridge between different eras of Alice Cooper's solo career. You can clearly hear elements of The Last Temptation from 1994 mixed with the industrial heaviness of Brutal Planet from 2000. And by the way, I just reviewed those two albums on my channel. You can check them out. The guitars balance classic rock tones with modern heaviness. There's orchestration, theatrical moments, and hints of his early 70s sound scattered throughout the album. Co-producer Greg Hampton has said that while working on the album, he intentionally revisited records like Billion Dollar Babies and Brutal Planet to capture both the vintage and modern elements, and that really shows on this album. So at this point in the video, I'm going to talk about the tracks, and then at the end of the video, I'll talk more about the conclusion and the twist. Opening track is called Prologue, I Know Where You Live, a perfect way to open the album. Right away, it sets up the story, makes it clear it's a concept album. The sound feels like a throwback to early 70s Alice Cooper, especially with a heavy drum beat and simple but effective riff. There are modern touches, but overall it sounds like classic Alice. Vengeance is Mine features Slash on guitar. It's one of the heaviest tracks on the album, leans closer to the Brutal Planet sound. Slash's guitar work adds a lot of weight to the song, has a memorable riff and a very catchy chorus. Wake the Dead features Ozzy Osbourne on vocals, and it's a fun and slightly strange track. It's a blues rock track with modern edge, almost like a mix of Alice Cooper, Aerosmith, and nu metal, and it sounds like an odd combination, but it works, and Ozzy Osbourne's vocal appearance adds a lot of personality. Catch Me If You Can brings back some classic Alice Cooper creepiness. It has a retro feel, but still very modern. The lead guitar work stands out here, and the song fits perfectly into the album's darker themes. In Touch With Your Feminine Side is a strong rock song with a very catchy chorus. Guitars and drums are punchy, and the song plays an important role in advancing the album's narrative. Wrapped in Silk is a bluesy rock track that reminds me of Alice's glam era sound, especially albums like Trash and Hey Stoopid. The bass guitar here really shines, and the spider imagery is used in a clever thematic way. Killed by Love is a classic Alice Cooper power ballad. It feels like something from his mid to late 70s catalog, but also has an 80s power ballad edge, thanks to the guitar solo. The melody is strong and is one of the most emotional highlights of the album. I'm Hungry goes straight back to that classic 70s rock sound. Riffs are strong, vocals are aggressive, guitar solo sounds intentionally retro. The One That Got Away leans more modern with wah-wah guitar effects and call and response style between the vocals and the guitar. It's not the heaviest song on the album, but still fits the overall tone. Salvation is a piano ballad that strongly recalls Welcome to My Nightmare. It has a haunting atmosphere and adds emotional depth right before the album's conclusion. Before going any further, let me open this up. I never showed you the CD. So, pretty cool cover. Has more of like a modern look, but this Alice Cooper kind of looks like an old movie from the 50s. And then you have the back cover of the CD with Alice Cooper and the song titles. I'm going to open up the book. A lot of the imagery is like retro horror films. A lot of this recalls, I guess, like those grindhouse horror movies from the 70s. And you can see there's more imagery in the booklet. Every page has different artwork, so that's pretty cool, along with the lyrics. And you can see Alice and the story goes along with the imagery. So here's another image, pretty cool artwork, and pretty cool photograph, There's more of that imagery. This is for the song Salvation. As you can see, it's similar to the album cover, which is like this. And again, this is the last song, and they almost have it like presented as if it were like a movie, which is kind of how this album plays out. And I also forgot to mention there's this 10-minute mini movie that you can find on YouTube, which has like 3 of the songs. And I've been showing clips of it like throughout this video, but I recommend you check it out and watch the whole thing start to finish because it's really cool. And now for the spoiler warning, I'm going to be telling the album ending. So if you don't want the album's twist spoiled, you can back out right now, and that's it, end the video here. But anyway, track 11, I'm the Spider, and the epilogue. This reveals a twist. So this is where everything changes. In the closing moments of the album, the internal voice speaks to the main character and says, "We've been locked away here for 28 years, Stephen. We couldn't have done all those horrible things." But that line really reframes the entire album, because the serial killer, known as Spider, is revealed to be Stephen, the name of the character from Alice Cooper's 1975 concept album, Welcome to My Nightmare. And it implies that Stephen has been imprisoned or institutionalized for nearly 3 decades, meaning the crimes described throughout the album may have been delusions playing out inside his mind. So what seemed like a modern slasher story suddenly becomes a psychological breakdown connecting Along Came a Spider to the storyline that spans decades of Alice Cooper's career. So now to wrap this up, I've always thought Along Came a Spider was one of his strongest albums from his later period. His post-2000 releases can be hit or miss, but this one stands out due to its strong concept, solid songwriting, and clever narrative twist. It successfully blends vintage Alice Cooper storytelling with modern heaviness, both musically and thematically. I'm going to give this one an 8 out of 10. I think it's one of his better ones from his more modern period. If you enjoyed this review, make sure to check out this Alice Cooper playlist that's appearing on your screen about now. Reviewed most of the albums, like the first 9 albums, I think, and then reviewing other ones that are connected and ones that I actually have in my collection. So let me know in the comments what you think of the album. Do you think it's underrated? Have you ever listened to it? If you enjoyed the video, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, ring the notification bell so you don't miss future reviews. Thanks for watching. I will see you in the next one.